Welcome back to another video on the AG channel. It is me, AG, and today I will do a tier list of swords. I'm reading your comments, and I've noticed that some people have like pretty decent interest in very specific classes, but I don't have the time to make all these class videos because it takes me and then I lose motivation, all of that. So I decided just to make like a tier list of sorts. One video where I will rate them. I think the current game was just 1.1.7. Let's check up on that real quick. Announcements. Okay. Oh, actually 1.2.3. Okay. Latest game version. This is the timestamp. Following plan. I'm just gonna go through the NATO classes first. I sorted them out for section. So first Riflemen, light support, heavy support, specialized, and then command. After that, we have PACT and exam assortment. I'm just gonna put them on a tier list, give like my thoughts to it, why I put them there, yap a little, and then hopefully I can just upload this. This is a one take. I didn't write a script or anything. It is just to have this out and help the people. Help the people. We shall build a wall. One chewing gum. Let's get started. First, Delta Force Rifleman. In my eyes, a pretty good class. You see, it's a special forces class. You have to pay Robux for it, and you expect something cool for it, when it's something special. Back in 0.7, you start the MO1, which was a thump, 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 like you demo man from TAFE 2. It was damn annoying to play, but I did prefer the PACT grenade launcher because it had more range and more damage. Demo 1 was really fucking the damage apart by it. But in 1.0, it trades in the grenade launcher for impact grenades. I'm not sure if the impact grenades actually, I think they were just really short fuse, unless they fix that. The gun is really good. I gotta say, when you were like old in 0.7, you still remember the XM4. And the XM4 was horrible. And then they gave it the Car 15 with a 4x scope, which was also horrible because the Car 15 had horrible recoil still. So you can really use a CQB gun with a 4x scope. But this game, the recoil is actually very nice. You're silenced. You have a nice red dot. The gun has really decent damage. It's, in my mind, you can imagine it's the M16A1, but with the 30 rounders. And no drawback to. Would I buy this class if I had 300 Robux? It's good, but I just save it up actually. So just to keep in mind that these were like, I'm trying to, in my mind, to also filter them out for each group they are. And for 300 Robux for Rifleman, I'm just gonna put in Combi Blaster. Actually, just on good. Because even the normal Rifleman might even outperform this guy. The same I gotta say for the Navy SEALs Assault. Don't kill me for it. When it first launched, the Stoner had horrible iron sights, and the shotgun was actually pretty fun. The issue is the buckshot was really unreliable. They fixed it since then because they add the slamfire function, and the slamfire function is actually fucking goated. The slugs are also nasty on this guy because it's one hit on a semi-automatic basically if you have the slamfire. So that alone puts it higher than the Delta Force. But you pay 300 Robux for 2 primaries. The Stone is 63 is just an upgrade to the M16A1. Same as the Delta Force, you just have a M16A1 with 30 rounders. Really nice reload rate, very high fire rate, very easy recoil. They fixed the iron sights, so that's good. It looks fucking cool too. I still remember before they added the function to keep your hair, you were just bald. Because of the face painting being a head accessory, not a face accessory. I'm just gonna put it on Combi Blaster. I don't want to be biased, but I think overall the PACT special force classes, or in general special force class are a bit outmatched than the normal ones. Like, they don't really have that much of an advantage for being special forces. Like, you have to pay 300 Robux for them. But that would also make it pay to win. So I think they're fair. You still got 2 really good, 2 really unique guns. For pub servers, the shotgun is a fucking beast. Especially if you like back down on Moshling and like fighting on Vasily or something. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it here. Alright, the first actual proper class. The US Rifleman. The US Rifleman's good. If you've seen the M16 video, like how to use Rifleman, I already stated that in my mind. It's a good class. It is very well matched with the Soviet Rifleman. You get smoke grenades, you get your armored crate, you get fragments. You got everything you asked for. The burst fire might be a downside to it, but if you just have 2 brain cells to just keep spamming the burst, it's barely noticeable. One thing you have to keep in mind though, NATO rocks a 7.62 development. So you have to keep that in mind that these guys exist. But alone for that, just over utility, it's free. It's the first class you get. This one's good. This one will shred. M16A1. Good, but that class, same reason as I said in the other video. It is nice to have the fully automatic function, but you have 20 rounders. And the 20 rounders really run out on you quickly, especially if you're like taking on multiple guys or having a firefight. Those 20 rounds really, really go empty. It happens very often that if you fight some guy, you just dump the entire magazine into him. And then you have to first reload before the second guy comes in. And you lose your smoke grenade. So that sucks. British Reserve. British Reserve is a Combi Blaster. Before the 7.62 nerfs, thank you, Grippy. This British Reserve was able to very reliably one-hit you. And if not, at the very least 2-hit you. Why? Because how damage is calculated, if you like get an arm hit on torso hit, it just calculates it twice on the pain bar. So you got fucked. Add to that with the reload, the recoil is actually really decent on this thing. And the iron sights are also really nice. And you got basically just a G3, which is semi-automatic, has slightly better recoil, and you drip here. So there's that. After the nerf, I think what they did is they still nerfed the damage like the G3, but they improved the recoil even further, so you have some usage chase to use that instead of the G3. So I think it's a very nice place right now. It can, on the long range, it will still beat like the AK rifles, and close range it's more close. It's a more fair fight. British Rifleman. Good. Issues with the British Rifleman. It sits in like this balancing sphere. If you have 5.56 rifle, you have only 2 choices how to balance this. Either you are better than M16 scenes, or worse. Like, it's all about the 30 rounder and recoil. If you get a 30 rounder, your recoil has to be ass. If you have really good recoil, you are not allowed to have a big magazine. So that's how they main balance of between A1 and A2 on the M16s. Back in 0.7, it had no horizontal recoil, but for some reason the recoil went up and down. But that was its only real downside. Not to mention that 5.56 back then was kind of ass. Like, you couldn't kill a guy with that. Every time you just had to mag dump that guy to even get one kill. But it was really good to like spray people from across the map because you don't have zero horizontal recoil. In this game, it switched. You have no vertical recoil like the M16, but you have horrible horizontal recoil. Horizontal recoil. I tend to mutter a little bit. So there's that. You still get the smoke grenades, you get the frag grenades. You look cool, but I wouldn't waste money on this. So it's good, but even good but outclassed. Because this guy exists. The G3 is in Moscow in 2 weeks. When the game first launched, in general, the launch was horrible, and then all the balancing first after came. And even it took like, what? When was the G3 nerf? Not here. Not here. Yeah. 1.1. It was in 6th of May. When did the game launch? Like in February? I'm too lazy to scroll now. The G3 was nasty. You had the wall bang, you had the recoil, you had the damage all in one package. And your only real downside is that you had a 20 rounder and shitty fire rate. But fire rate doesn't even matter if you 2-tap somebody or even 1-tap. So the G3 was by far the best rifleman for a long time. I don't know why you would ever use 5.56 if this guy exists. And it's a rifleman, so unlimited. So what you just did on Vasily or any other point on Morslingen, you just put this bitch on fully automatic, and even if this like a guy down the road, you just put on semi or you burst fire, and you would still outbeat him because you have the damage and the drop off like a DMR in a full automatic package. Now the G3 was nerfed, it's still fucking good. Like, it's more balanced. Like, if you are an AK, like a MP KM72 of a GDR, you can at least fight this guy. But before that, unless you got the jump on him, you're dead. Moscow in 2 weeks. French rifleman. Oh, the French. What do I say about this guy? So, I mentioned before, like, the balancing part about either you have a 30 rounder or you have good recoil. The French is an in-between thing. I said in the NATO video before, US Rifleman, US Recon, National Guard Rifleman, the FAMAS is an angry M62 A1. You get 5 extra bullets, but you also get 150 more RPM. So this guy is, you point it at one person, you let that mag go, he's dead. Then you have to reload and rinse and repeat. Alone the fire rate makes this thing good. The low magazine size makes it ass. And then try having fun to control that. It's pretty controllable, but the high fire rate really kicks it up. And if you don't hit like the first few bullets, the iron sights, because you're looking for the carry handle, really obstructs it. So you have to really go for 1v1s, like pick them off. You can't fight groups with this thing. But like in a 1v1 situation, it's a combi blaster. If I'm like fighting a team, it's good at best. But I would just still put it between the beneath the British British Reserve, right there. Yeah. Light support. Navy Assist Grenadier is a Comet Blaster. The Chin Lake is nice. It's actually pretty decent. If you know how to drop off words, it's just thump, thump, thump. And the MP5 SD, it might feel weak at first, but you just have to imagine you have 0 traces, 0 sound, and 0 recoil. If you can aim for head, even the MP5 SD is really good. You will not outmatch like a machine gun or full-size rifle, but you're still very capable. I still remember back in 0.7 the MP5 being so fucking ass. Then I saw in this game when the Grenadier got dropped against the MP5 SD, I was first scared, but then I played it. It's actually pretty decent. But just because of the grenade launcher utility, instead of just having a shotgun, the shotgun is nice, but I would rather have explosive for groups. Grenadier gets above the assault, but would I put it over the Rifleman? Oh, not to mention the French Rifleman only gets smoke grenades for some reason, not frag grenades. Yeah, okay, fuck that guy. Put it up. But the British Reserve still mugs him. Anyways. Recon! Like, just in comparison to the entire light support group, put the guy down here. I'm sorry, the Car 15 is nice to play, it's a nice gun. But you trade in so much utility on light support to play this class. It's free. It's the first class you get. But if I'm talking about the perspective of if you've like mindset, you have every class and you have to pick one, or you try to buy a class, this guy ain't it. Good, but our class, yeah, I'm just gonna put him down here. Issue is all these classes are somewhat decent in some way. Just some are like the entire this. If I can think, there's not a singular gun which is just ass. Like back then the MP5 or the pistols. Nobody used the pistols. But in this game it just puts it the main focus up here. So all gun is somehow usable, just some are way better than others. So you have to think about that. Yeah, Recon gets up there. National Guard Recon, Moscow in 2 weeks. National Guard Recon is still obese like a 0.7. If remembering 0.7, the M14, yet you had 0 recoil control. But the second you look at somebody, and he's in front of you, like within 10 meters, he's dead. There's no chance. He can say his prayers, he's dead. Because you one tap a guy with dice, and if not one tap, it's a two tap. And you have insane wall bang. So it goes up. Now with 1.0 you can also put on semi and just use an unscoped M21 if you like want those precise shots. So that's really good. Marksman. Yeah, this is a marksman. Marksman, Moscow in 2 weeks. US Marksman. Really clean scope. Back and more slinging before the Marksman nerfs. This guy one hit. Like, very unlucky 2-tap most of the times. But if you get like a decent position and you change positions, this guy was a beast. You can even CQB with this thing. You just put control and just boom, 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 like out of hipfire. If you're just stationary, you're still accurate. So you could just do that. Or you just go in first person, just hipfire. It's damn good. Sniper, good. I like the sniper. Back in 0.7, this guy was ass. Just because of bullet drop. The bullet drop was ridiculous. Ridiculous. Disgusting! There was the bullet drop. But in 1.0, they fixed the bullet drop to not be comically bad. You just have to put in your mindset the zeros is aligned. So you have to aim with the first dot, with the cross. 9 times stop though. Like, now in Chochlovka, it has a usage with the... But in more slinging, it was too much most of the time. Unless you were like on Sniper Tower looking down. You know the radio tower in NATO's one? Yeah. But I would just play the M21 because you get more ammo, more fire rate, more usable scope, and you're not completely fucked if somebody goes to close quarters. So there's that. Pretty saw. What do I do with this guy? The pros. You're basically just a rifleman with a better gun. That's it. I think what the saw gets is not a bigger magazine, but better recoil in the 4x scope. The 4x scope is very meh. Like, how the game handled scopes is actually pretty ass. I don't like it. Otherwise, the better recoil helps. But there's just better light support. Like, I get it. You get a straight upgrade, basically. And for that, you trade in that you don't have unlimited rifleman slots anymore. You use one of the light support slots. But it's better light support. That's the issue. So I'm gonna put it in down here, actually. It's unremarkable, really. I don't know what to say. So who's this guy? Grenadier. Grenadier's good. You still got an M16. You don't get an ammo crate. You don't get frag grenade because you're a grenadier. But the grenadier is actually pretty helpful. If you like have a window or house, put a grenade into there. I'm gonna grab my microphone. If you're one of those people that use the grenade launcher in CQB as an AT spam replacement, I wish death upon you. And you should know that you ass at this game. Use your rifle. Please. You embarrass yourself. Thank you. Anyways. Grenadier. Did it already Dragon? Yeah. Freddy is good. I'd still just prefer you as a marksman. But this one's nice. Heavy support. M60 is a goddamn comic blaster. Boom, 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 boom. With really good recoil. Really good just sustained fire. You get a 100 round belt with a very controllable fire rate, with really good damage and decent wallbang. All you do is boom, 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 the entire time. Just be Rambo. Lie down or just crouch and just boom, 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 the entire time. It's good. Saw. I'm so glad they buffed this thing. Like, if you know me from 0.7, I hate this thing. It's ass. Because back in 0.7, 556 didn't do any damage. In this game it does. But it's still so underperforming. Especially when I get later to like these next two guys next to them. You will see that this guns, why? Unless you want to LARP as like a marine. And just down range with like 200 round belts. Why would you pick this? No wonder we thought it was lost. That's so much better, man. Why would you pick this? West German machine gunner. Moss down 2 weeks. Back in 0.7, the downside to this thing is the recoil was uncontrollable. In 1.0, the downside of this thing is horizontal recoil. Vertical doesn't exist. You just pull down. But it just jumps right, left. But it's still somewhat controllable. You know? Like, you got time to react. So otherwise, you have just a 1,000 round bullet hole, so you just shred somebody. So it just made it better. With the wallbang, with the damage. Like, if you look at the weapon stats, it's only 45 damage. So it's technically the same as the AK-74. But you've 1000 RPM. You shred somebody with that. Must down 2 weeks. British EPMG. Oh my god. There's like a tier above Moscow in 2 weeks. Moscow today. British EPMG is the overpowered class right now. I gotta say it. Just like the VZ59, so don't call me a Pactoid or something. The L7A2 is literally the best gun in the game right now. For NATO. You have really good damage, really good fire rate, really good recoil, large belt. You can spray with this thing, you can suppress with this thing, you can snipe with this thing. If you see a car coming to you, all 4 people are dead. You see somebody on the hill, he's dead. I've won 1v10s with this thing. Which is not a high feat. I don't want to flex. Like, it's not like a real argument if the gun is good or bad, if you can win in 1v10. It can also just be shitters. You know, like, I don't want... You get what I mean. But this gun's too good. It's too strong. It has to be nerfed. It won't. Because in the current balancing, it is really just very quick time to kill. General, the weapons have low recoil. And the L7 back in 0.7 was already, I think, the best machine gun. I think it was still like a fight between the MG3 and L7A2, just because of fire rate. But in this game, it's more level. But it's a fucking good class, bro. It's the best one. If you see heavy support open, you have this, and you're good at the game, take it and shred some people. You can just clear entire cap point with, like, damn. 80. Call me Blaster. Where do I begin? So, I know there's a lack of tanks right now. So why do you use the AT on infantry? Especially Morslingen, Vasily, Boris have choke points on the staircases. Because vertical play. If you blow up the staircase and you upstairs still, you're untouchable until you fuck up. But basically untouchable. They can't get up to you. So, if you have a skilled AT who can nuke those staircases, or knows where like the choke points are through walls and just blows up a wall, that's good. You see a bunch of infantry sitting like on a room, like mowing down your teammates, you blow that guy up, that's nice. But if you use this thing to go CQB and just pointing clink adventure when you see somebody, delete the game, man. Just escape L accept. Just leave pro, please. Nobody likes you. Especially not help if you have like the recoilless rifle has flechette or HE. HE is nasty. I've seen people just point blank me with this thing. Because they had it, they had just run around with it pull out. They don't know they have a car 15. I was ambushed with ATs before. Because people just in their mind say, I want to RPG spam this guy, even though I could just shoot this guy. This is cope right now. This is massive cope. But I just want you to know, nobody likes you, man. If you do that, nobody likes you. If you were faction shot, Then of course you kind of do it because every single fight kind of adapted to the RPG meta back in 0.7 and it just kept it 1.0. But please no, man. Don't do it. I beg you. Light anti-tank. Good but outclassed. The normal anti-tank is right there. I guess for the ammo crate, nice to have. French Apilas. Oh my goodness. So, the thing about this guy is, the Apilas has the same damage as a tandem charge RPG-7. With really good drop-off. And it's resupplyable because you have an ammo crate. Issue is, the MAT 49 is ass. You have no recoil, but you also have no bullet velocity. I've seen, when I was playing this class, I had a Soviet guy. You know how a Koklovka, like his little small garden is? The distance? I was shooting at this guy from one end of the garden, and he was at the other end of the garden. I already had to lead to hit this guy. That's how bad it is. But alone for the Apilas. The Apilas is damn good, man. But the gun is ass. Crewman, useless. Medic, bangin' bro. So, it's just a normal M16A1. You are American Rifleman. But you can help your team. You're healing them, you get really good money. Like, all these people lying on a road who are just get constantly knocked, that's just free money for you. Just run in there. You have smoke grenades. That's the one thing I like about NATO over PACT. NATO is smoke grenades. None of the PACT guys have smoke grenades. Use smoke grenades. They're good, man. They have really good utility to just conceal, push, go help a guy across the road. Use them, man. Pick him up and use them. Good class. Radio man. Bangin' bro. The radio, the artillery strike is really good. More slinging before the radio got added. Oh my god. You couldn't get guys off the roof. Like, once you got roof control, it's over for you, bro. But now you can just bump them to shit. I've seen matches where the second the radio cooldown went off on both sides, they just bumped B. The church was gone. It didn't exist anymore. It was just free real estate at some point. Just rubble. You know how Dresden 1945 looked? That was B Church. I can kind of understand it though. Alright. Okay, let's sort this actually. Just over utility. I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit. Okay, there we go. Yeah, British EPNG at 1. Rifleman at 2. I'm gonna put the MG3 over the Recon. Do I put the Marksman over the Recon? I'm an aggressive player. No, I'm gonna keep the Marksman a little bit back. Put him at the bottom. That's nice. Okay, look down here. M60 at the top. After M60 Reserve. Navy's there. I need to glass the Medic. Medic's a really good class. How they implement the Medic back is really fun. It's really useful. It's good for noobs. Even if you shit aim, you can still have game impact. And farm money. So it's nice. Fucking ATS should go up. I know why people AT spam. It's effective. I hope the recording you don't hear me like double because I have the setting enabled. And I'm too lazy to disable right now. Good. Okay, Apilas at the top. That's Grenadier. I want to put like this. Nice. Quit with outclassed. Yep. I don't care down here. Let me zoom out again. Yep. That's gonna be it for NATO. Sorted. Okay, now we're at PACT. It unsorted itself. Fuck. Okay, let's just ball, I guess. Severed Rifleman. The worker's tool of choice. AK-74. Maybe the baseline weapon of this game. Most balanced gun there is. I got nothing to complain about. I got nothing to praise about it. It's just a good gun. It works. You are outclassed, but if you just use your mind or just pick your fights, it has every winning chance there is. Maybe not like at the most extreme ranges fighting a marksman. That's just stupid. But otherwise, really good gun. You don't get smoke grenades. The entirety of PACT doesn't get smoke grenades. Please, Grippy. We need smoke grenades. They're useful. I want them. Give me my RGD2. I've seen it modeled. Implement it, please. Next one. VDV Rifleman. It's literally just Soviet Rifleman. But you lose your helmet. Okay, I guess. And if you see the recoil stats of the AK-74 and the AK-74, all it does is you get better vertical, but it trades like one recoil point. You get better horizontal recoil, I think, but for that you get one worse vertical recoil. Like, who the fuck cares? No, it was the other way around, actually. You get better vertical, but you get worse horizontal. Why? It's barely noticeable. I played the class, it's barely noticeable. Back in 0.7 did this very same thing, but it wasn't changed. It was switched around recoil stats. So the AKS-74 was better on vertical, but worse on horizontal. While the AK-74 was switched around. It was worse on vertical, but better on horizontal. But it was such a minute detail. It was just personal preference on what drip you want like more. The blue beret is cool. But back then, the helmet function actually worked. Like, your helmet could eat a bullet. I don't know if this in 1.0 was implemented yet. I didn't see it in action yet. So, I guess, man. Both exist. I wouldn't waste the $3,000. Like, get an actual proper upgrade. Like the Polish Rifleman. Polish Rifleman is the best 545 for the Rifleman class. After it is like 762. The Polish Rifleman is an actual like upgrade. It's a minute upgrade, but it's an actual upgrade. You get 50 more rounds per minute. And a burst fire. Why would you use the burst fire? Maybe on long range. Yeah, it's pretty useful, but nobody uses that. The 50 more RPM does a small difference. Very minute difference. But it is 50 more RPM. Like, on paper, like, it's a 1-to-1 image of the Soviet Rifleman. But you get 50 more RPM. There's that. Then you get an actual proper playstyle change. And the East German Rifleman. East German Rifleman road trip to Bonn. Why? It's a good rifle overall. Like, you got good damage, you got good recoil, you got a decent-ish fire, like a decent fire. It's faster than a G3. Like, you have to imagine the AKM on the G3. One's the assault rifle, one is the battle rifle. There's a difference. The G3 in like a 1-to-1 head-on engagement will win most of the time. But the AKM is well balanced, more all-rounded. It's not like specialized. You can fight on long range, you can fight at close range, you can do flanks, you can do snipes, you can do pushes. It's just good. If you pre-fire a corner, nothing can stop you. Unless like a machine gunner just pre-fires you, then you're fucked anyways. But from the rifleman, it's just good class. There's nothing special about it. Like from all the riflemen, it's just good. Czech rifleman. Also road trip to bomb, but for a different reason. I mentioned that the G3 wins head-on engagements against the AK, because the AK is a more well-rounded weapon. The VZ58 is an angrier cousin of the AK. You trade in recoil controllability for just pure fire, like for fire rate and damage. You just dump that mag into somebody, he's dead. He's Swiss cheese. The FAMAS fire rate, FAMAS aggressivity with AK-762 damage. That's a VZ58. It's like hyper aggressive, little ferret. That's a Czechoslovakian rifleman. I like it. I do not like it like on mid range or long range, because then you have to like really burst fire it. But if you like up close and personal, it's a good class. Didn't play it in a while though, so I might be speaking false information. Next rifleman, I think I forgot the reserve, did I? Yeah, the reserve. Don't hate me on this. So, I love the SGS. Back in 0.7, I was the connoisseur of the SGS. It had no recoil and really good damage. And then they, like, there was an update. Before that update, the SGS was fire rate locked. And you could only shoot like, pum, pum, pum. Then it was ass. But then they removed that, and you could just shoot as fast as you can click. After the SGS was goated. They did the same thing with the L1A1. SGS, amazing weapon. Back in 0.7, I loved it. It had a really reliable 1 or 2 tap kill. You had 0 recoil and really good drop-off. Because again, 0.7, comical drop-off on most of the weapons. This guy was actually pretty decent, like, for long-range snipes. Then 1.0 came around. It still kept, like, the really decent 1 or 2 tap potential. Like, on headshot it's 1 taps. On torso it's very unlikely. But the 2 tap is almost guaranteed. But the L1A1 exists. Has 20 round magazines. Has a better reload. And has a better fire rate, like prolonged fire. The SGS has 10 round internals. And back then in 0.7, you just reload all 10 at the same time. In this game, you have click, click, click. You need to put each bullet individually. Add to that for a long, long time, the ammo crate was bugged for the STS. You couldn't use it. You only have 60 bullets in this thing. You know how fast you run out of that? If you do the same math, like a normal rifleman has 8 magazines times 30. This guy has 6 times 10. You just... You're empty, man. Then you have to restock again. I don't like it, man. It used to be so great. I love it. It's still decent, but it's just so outclassed. Sorry, bro. You have to stay down there. It hurts to say. Oh, Special Forces. I forgot the fucking Special Forces. GRU. Grenade launcher is nice. Gun is decent. 45 rounders, decent damage, good recoil. Last time I really played that thing was against, like, back then when the G3 was just king. I just got shot on, which is, like, understandable, using 545 against a full-size battle rifle. But it's good, man. Like, I don't have anything bad to say about it. You get like big magazine, you get silence. You don't have a red dot, but who the fuck needs a red dot, man? You don't have recoil. You don't have tracers. You look damn cool with the Alton, with the Callum McKay, with the 6B3. The grenade launcher has really decent range and can prove useful. I don't know how like the grenade launcher sight, it's broken again anyways, but the grenade launcher sight, why would you use it anyways? You just hip fire it, boom, boom, boom. It's good, man. I got nothing to say. A as well. It's one of the, yeah, it has impact grenade. Oh, I fucking love this thing. You have to imagine about this, like, this thing is, it suffers from the same issues the FAMAS and M16A1, that it has 20 round magazines with a high fire rate. But it has AK damage. You 2-tap a guy with this. And you have no recoil. Plus you have impact grenades. Like if you play really, really aggressively, like you would in M16A1 or FAMAS or the VZ58, they would most likely be able to prolong a fight further. But being sneaky bastard, just running around with the Ace Well, amazing. I like it. It looks cool. It sounds cool. The weapon is nice. Like, you can't tell me Ice Val is not cool. It's nice to have. Would I waste 300 Robux on it, though? Not sure. I'm gonna keep it up there. What other things do we have? Do I have all the Riflemen done? Yes, I do. Liked support. Recon. VMF Recon. Okay. I'm gonna put it on Imperialist Doom. Because of this thing. You have a DMR with horrible drop-off because it's a subsonic bullet. But you don't hear it at all. And you're very much able to just one-tap a guy with this if you get a good hit. And at the very, very least 2-tap. If you're able to catch somebody on flank, they just fall over and die. You have no tracers. They don't know where you didn't shot from. If you know how like the drop-off works, even then, you can just do ranging shots. I've done this before. I wasted like I was trying to how's it called to not get myself cancelled on Chokhlovka. The twin buildings. I know by another name. Twin buildings. I'm outside a window. There's a guy on the radio tower, NATO. The NATO side radio tower, sniping the entire time. So what I did is just range it in. And then all you see is like no traces, nothing. And then when you get closer, you see the massive spark of a bullet impact on this guy's head. And he's dead. He had zero clue where I was. The camouflage actually worked pretty well. Especially if like looking from outside into a shadowy room. It's pretty dark, it's greenish, it's nice. If you want to be a sneaky prick, like you want to LARP, it's a good class. The only issue I have with it, which I will also get to later with the SGS Recon, you run out of ammunition way too quickly. It also has only 10 round magazines, and you only get 6 of them. So just like the SGS. Imperialist Doom. I'm gonna keep it up there. Maybe I'm gonna down tier it later when I look at the other ones, but there's that. Recon! Works tool of choice. The only reason I put the other Recon so low on America is because the M14 exists. On this game, however, the National Guard Reserve Recon, it's called Soviet Reserve Recon, is meh. So why would you use a Recon class? That's why I also put the Soviet VMF Recon up there. The AK-74U is better than in 0.7. It's an okay rifle. It's not bad, it's not good, you can have fun with it. It's just outclassed, but it still has sighting chances. If you like get a good flank on somebody or ambush, you can kill really reliably. You can kill really decently. Once you like locked on somebody's target, the recoil is just pretty straightforward. Until it can react, they're most likely dead. You got a cool uniform like Calumet K. You might look like the buddy from that one Christmas movie, but who the fuck cares, man? You LARP. W LARPs. W LARPs. It looks good. It's decent, man. Reserve recon. What have they done to my boy? It does its job. I forgot that does its job tiers right there. The only reason I put it this high. Oh, I just forgot this guy doesn't have an ammo crate. The other guy even has an ammo crate. I'm gonna even put it down there. Just because at least the reserve can resupply himself because of the ammo issue. The recon can't. Well, then you have to run to a rifleman and he gives you ammo, but with like chat registration like the average player, that's gonna be horrible. And the STS is nice to snipe with. I said it on the wiki page. The STS is a Teemo SVD basically. You get worse damage, worse scope, but for that, you just get versatility with like the recon binoculars. You can still one-tap people in headshot and two-tap people on the torso. But for that, I just much rather prefer an SVD. I'm just disappointed what they did to the STS, man. What have they done to my boy? If they like buff the ammunition count, which is like my biggest issue with these guys, okay, I guess, man. Okay, it's an internally fed magazine. What can you do about it? Just he reloads it pretty quickly. It just I don't like it be like 1, 2, 3, 4. I liked it from 0.7 where it was instantaneous. I know it's not realistic, but there's that. Maybe use stripper clips. There's also that chance. They have to increase the ammo count for the STS. It struggles at some point. If you're like on a flank or like you're just fighting solo, you just get cucked by ammo most of the time. Next class. Grenadier. Just like the M16A2, like the US Grenadier. Decent class. It does a job. Actually, do I put it up here? I like the explosive damage. The AK-74 is fully automatic for those noobs amongst you. So there's that. It's just useful. I don't know what to say otherwise. So, which one of these guys down there is the RPK-74? This one. RPK-74. It was buffed. Before the buff, it was ass. Because it had like it had lower damage than a Makarov. But then they gave it a slight buff. And now you got a decent 4x scope. It's better than the Susat on the L86A1. You get 45 rounders. So on this gun, it's an actual like straight up upgrade to the AK-74. And you get slightly better recoil, I think. So you get more ammo, a 4x scope, slightly better recoil for just being light support. Which is an actual better trade-off than what you have with the NATO saw. The NATO saw only gets better recoil. And the shitty 4x scope. So there's that. It's nice. It's nice to have, like, if heavy support is taken, you're a machine gun player. Or you just want some tiny extra utility or, like, prolonged fire of an AK-74, like a normal rifleman. You can take this. It's nice. There's nothing bad to say about it, really. SVD, bro. The SVD. I love the SVD. I know people don't like the scope because I think what happens is if you move around with the SVD scope, it blacks out way faster than it does with the M21. I don't give a shit though, because the SVD is just coded. Like, the triangle is really nice aiming point. All you have to do is you put your target between the first triangle and the cross. The bullet drop-off on every single map will be somewhere along that line. And just kill people with this. All they see is a green tracer coming, then he's dead. And the sound of it. I like it. It's good. It's nice. It's peak even. Mosin. Good. Imperialist Doom. What they did with the bolt action rifles, I didn't mention this previously. What they did with the bolt action rifle is they buffed the damage. Because back in 0.7, I know back in 0.7, the Mosin did more damage than the M24 for some reason. And the M24 really didn't like to one tap. It was pretty buns. The Mosin, on the other hand, was just the CQB M24. You didn't have the 9x scope. Why the fuck would you need that? You have a 3.5. The 3.5 is all you need. All you do is like point at somebody, you clip, you shoot, you clip him. Because the Mosin also had like, I think, the best drop off in the entire 0.7. In this game, it doesn't matter as much because, again, the drop off is not horrendous. Every gun actually has like some realistic-ish ballistics. I don't see the Mosin getting used a lot anymore. Because I guess people just got used like to ADS zoom of like their battle rifles. But if I see it still used, it's good. It's a CQB SVD in bolt action mode. Like, you trade in your versatility of like semi-automatic for guaranteed one-hit kill. I think that's why it wasn't used that much, because the SVD and the M21 were just better alternatives to it on the same light support role. But now, with the slight SVD nerf, it's like barely noticeable, so for me at least. I guess. It's a good class, it's just the SVD exists. Oh, what do we have here still? Do I forgot something on light support? No, I did not, I think. Nope. Nice. GPMG. Road Trip to Bonn. The PKM is the best machine gun in the game. Was. We come to that later. Why? In 0.7, the PKM had one major flaw. It, for some reason, for 7.62 times 54R, by the way, couldn't pen walls for shit. So, it had like AK-74 wallbang with decent-ish recoil and decent-ish damage. That's why I personally preferred to play the RPD or the RPK, because the RPK was the longer range, beefier sound, higher damage. Like, I think it was actually same damage or slightly higher on the RPK. I'm not sure anymore. I have to check that later. Or you guys check it on the wiki, the official source of all my yapping right now. I updated. We updated on the wiki team. We get the damage stats from the developers. If there's an update, join the server. We're gonna ping you for it. There's that. But I'm not sure if the RPK back then had better damage. It definitely had better range and way better sound, like the beefy RPK sound back then. Oh, I cream, bro. It was good. RPD was like really good damage. Horrible spread on long range. But it was still better on CQB than the PKM. That's because of the, like, I don't know, I think the PKM had like worse damage than the 7.62 back then. Even though it was a 7.62 54R, but I guess, man. And then the VZ59 came and just put all other machine guns to shame, because it was just the PKM, but you took the only nerf of the PKM away. You actually had damage on wallbang to it. In range. And decent recoil. So people just spam the VZ59. They jumped straight from the RPK to the VZ59. And then 1.0 came. 1.0, again, as I mentioned now this time before, fixed the ballistics of weapons. The PKM overnight became from mid-goodish MG to the best MG in the entire game. You had really good wallbang, decent recoil, like really decent recoil, good damage, in a 100 round belt that the RPD couldn't match. The RPK was ass at launch, and it was buffed recently, so it is pretty good, but the RPK wasn't its same beast anymore. So people came back to the PKM. And the PKM shredded people. It was good, bro. It was really fucking good. It's still good to this day. But there's like one guy who came in the latest update with the L7A2, which just puts this guy to shame. But we will come to that later. PKM Golden class. You get it for free. Like, there's that. You get it for free. It's the first heavy support you have. It's a fucking good class. It runs away a little bit on horizontal, I've noticed. But that's just a skill issue on my part. I've seen people... I like touching grass. So I'm not them. But I've seen people, especially on the faction scene, like on the most sweatiest level... They, back then, PACT only used to run the PKM because the PKM was just that good. Just the sweatiest guys they had in their ranks, the PKM, to just go commit domestic terrorism on the Hato dogs back then. So there's that. Saw. Which one of these guys is the Saw? I think this guy. Well, I mix it. No, this is the Saw. Okay, this is the Saw. Saw was buffed recently. Back in 0.7, I loved the RPD. I was the RPD connoisseur. It had shit spread, but it damn sure had the recoil and the damage. It was really good in CQB. But in 1.0, it's still good. It runs away a little bit on horizontal like the PKM. But it had like slightly worse damage, I think. And it was just overshadowed by the PKM. It was a good machine gunner, but it was overshadowed by the PKM. So that's the issue. I'm just gonna put it on worker's tool of choice. PKM literally exists. Why would you use the RPD? The RPD... Yeah, I'm just like repeating the same thing. It just overshadowed by the PKM. The PKM is just better. The RPD was nice. It was decent. It did its job. RPK. I was disappointed with the RPK at launch. And then until recently they've buffed the damage slightly. The RPK is the more it's like the most controllable machine gun until a certain guy came around. But it had the most underperforming damage. It had 45 damage, equal to an AK-74. So you had controllable recoil, you had like really good sustained fire, but I don't know what happened in like like the damage calculations if you hit somebody. Maybe just skill issue. It just felt really underperforming most of the time. Like I couldn't get kills. Like you had like to hold a decent burst until somebody died, which is you just have to put this in. I know it's wrong, but if you like remember back in 0.7, the RPK was like a beast back then. 1.0 it was like I went to my bulldog, like the best bulldog. I gave it a nice pony haircut. He looks like a little princess now. I chained him up. Like it's that kind of comparison. With the recent buff, it's decent. PKM literally still exists. The VZ59, which I'm going to get now, was added, so it still put every other machine gun on PACT side to shame. But if I just remove, like, if I put the VZ59 out of the equation, the PKM, if you can't handle horizontal, the RPK is a nice choice. To put it that way. VZ59, best class on PACT right now. As I mentioned before, the VZ59 only downside in 0.7 was it had 50 round belts, which ran out pretty, which was also the main nerf for the MG3 back then.